Welcome to version 51 of the competitive Brawl Stars tier list. We're going to rank every single brawler from worst to best. I want to give a massive thank you to all of these pro players who really helped in making this tier list as good as possible. These are literally some of, if not the best players in the world, so you know that their input is good. Let's start things off with the F tier, the worst brawlers in the game. Probably don't play these brawlers or upgrade them. Jackie is staying in the F tier. She remains at the very bottom. Tanks just aren't very favorable right now, and she is completely outclassed by better options even when you do want to play a tank. Jessie is also staying in the F tier. She still struggles a lot. Her turret gets removed instantly. She has underwhelming stats, just not very good right now, not competitively. El Primo is moving from the D tier down to the F tier. Even with some slight improvements, tanks are just struggling, and he just does not offer very much value. Not to mention the fact that he just straight up got like power crept on by Damien, right? Damien's just the better Primo. Rose is moving from the D tier down to the F tier. She also fell hard this update. She feeds way too much super. She doesn't bring enough impact. Man, Gigi's also moved from the D tier down to the F tier. She actually received a couple of buffs this update, but she is still easily one of the easiest brawlers in the game to just hard counter. So competitively, you don't want to pick her. Okay, next we have the D tier brawlers. These ones are not really good. You probably wouldn't want to pick them competitively. They're just not as bad as the F tier brawlers. And we're starting out with Chuck. He is staying in the D tier. Honestly, Chuck is only really good for heist, and even then there are better options, and pro players do a really good job at countering him. Okay, next we have Bolt, who is going to be starting in the D tier. At the time of recording this, Bolt has not been released in the game yet, and the pro players have not had a chance to actually play test him. There's also a really good chance that he's going to get a bunch of buffs before he actually gets released. He might end up being completely broken. I think that he's just going to be really easy to counter. So he's in a tough situation. I could have put him in the C tier, B tier. I could have put him anywhere and probably justified it. So we'll have to wait and see. Buzz is moving from the C tier down to the D tier. He's just dropping slightly. He still gets countered really easily. Just not a great option overall right now, especially with so many brawlers that can do so much damage up close. Doug is moving from the C tier down to the D tier. His healing's just not enough to justify picking him over safer options. And like I said earlier, tanks are just really struggling right now. Except for one of them. Wait, is it more than one? Okay, yeah, I took a sneak peek at the S tier. It's just Damien. He's the only tank up in the S tier. Hank is moving from the C tier down to the D tier. The current meta and maps just don't suit him at all, and he's struggling for the same reason all the other tanks are. Dynamite is moving from the B tier, skipping the C tier and going into the D tier. He's taken a big hit. The meta just has too much mobility. He has a hard time landing his shots. When you do land your shots, yeah, they're really good, but that's a big if, right? Or when. Miko is staying in the D tier. Very similar to Chuck. He's pretty much only good for heist. You don't want to play him very much anywhere else. He's pretty decent in like solo showdown, but this is a competitive pro tier list, which showdown is not competitive or pro. Sam is staying in the D tier. He's very reliant on his hypercharge. He's inconsistent to play without it. It's harder for him to charge his hypercharge than it used to be. He's just not that good right now. Tick is actually moving from the B tier down into the D tier, dropping significantly. And the reason why is aggressive brawlers are just able to really easily shut him down. He just doesn't provide enough damage. Honestly, a lot of the time his tickle damage from a distance even really isn't that bad to deal with. Okay, next we have the C tier brawlers. These are brawlers that are also not very competitive. You're not going to see them that often in competitive play, except in very, very specific situations. Unlike maps that they just excel at for some reason, or to counter very specific enemy brawlers. But most of the time, you're not going to see them, and they're not that great at the moment. First is Maisie, staying in the C tier. Her pinpoint precision star power actually recently received a buff, but her other star power is just still the better option, so this hasn't really changed very much for her. Ashe is moving from the B tier down into the C tier. Again, tanks aren't very dominant right now. They need a little bit too much support, and Ashe needs a little bit extra support because he has to take damage in order for him to charge up his rage. Well, not in every situation, but a lot of the time. That's one of the most effective ways for him to charge his rage. 8-Bit's moving from the B tier down to the C tier. He's falling slightly. 8-Bit still has strong damage, but he's just less effective overall right now. Barry is moving from the B tier down to the C tier. Man, I wish Barry was good because I like him. I really do. But his healing is just less impactful in this current meta. Especially where enemies typically try and move all over the place a lot. So Bonnie is staying in the C tier. She is a safe option, but overall she's pretty weak and there are just better options than her at the moment. Eve is actually moving from the D tier up into the C tier. She has slightly better matchups right now, but she's still not that great at the moment. Grom is moving from the D tier up into the C tier. He went through sort of a rework involving his attack damage getting nerfed, but his X Factor star power was buffed. It made him slightly better overall. which is kind of interesting. I thought that he would be slightly worse than before. Mandy's moving from the B tier down to the C tier. Long range control just isn't quite as valuable right now, and that's what Mandy thrives in. And even then, there are other options that are better at dealing with close range brawlers as well. Mr. P is going from the F tier up into the C tier. He's actually made a pretty big jump. Brawlers that spawn pets are generally a little bit better in this meta, and it's been enough for Mr. P to actually move up a couple of tiers. Still not competitive, but in terms of not competitive, better than he was before. Barley is moving from the B tier down to the C tier. And this has to do with the fact that there are other throwers that just do Barley's job a little bit better. So he's struggling right now at the top of the C tier. Okay, those are it for the non-competitive options. C tier, D tier, F tier, they all suck. Unless your favorite brawler is in there. Then hopefully you're really good with them. But next we have the B tier brawlers. These are brawlers that are competitive. They're not the go-to options for it that are in the S tier or the A tier. They're a little bit more niche. You want to play them on the right maps and the right modes to support the right teammates to take down specific enemies, and a majority of the brawlers are in this tier or higher, which is actually pretty great. Dare I say it's a sign of a somewhat balanced meta. We got Max staying in the B tier. Still very balanced, still useful. Support isn't as dominant as she usually is, but pro players can always handle Max really, really well, so she's solid. Nani is staying in the B tier. She's a strong, long-range option right now with quite a few different abilities in her kit that are actually useful. Meg is going from the C tier up into the B tier. She's a decent counter to tanks in this meta, and that makes her a little bit useful. It's not the best option, but decent. Ollie is staying in the B tier. He's actually right where he belongs, right? The hypercharge keeps him viable, but it's not completely busted and broken like it used to be. Jae Young is staying in the B tier. He received a buff to his gadget cooldown, which hasn't made much of a difference for him. He's pretty much right where he was before. Gale is staying in the B tier. He's a safe option against aggressive brawlers, right? That's what you use Gale for. You pick him in the right places. Otherwise, you don't pick him. Next is Brock staying in the B tier. He's just a very reliable long range pick when you need a long range pick. He's got some good options for his kit for survivability, and he can actually do a lot of damage. Fang is actually moving from the C tier up into the B tier. He actually received a small health buff, which has made Fang a lot more reliable than he used to be. He's still not game-breaking strong, but it's enough to make him at least viable. B is staying in the B tier. Very consistent, very reliable, good counter against certain brawlers, gets countered by other brawlers, so he's got a good spot in her. Belle is staying in the B tier. This is very similar to B. She's another safe, long-range option that also has some ways to deal with a lot of enemies. Not as much as B does, but she's still good. Draco's moving from the C tier up into the B tier. He received some decent buffs to his super, but the meta still doesn't really favor his playstyle. I still like to use him in certain situations until you get up until mythic, legendary. He's still a lot of fun to play in my opinion. Colt is moving from the A tier down to the B tier. He's still strong, but no longer top tier. I guess this is about how long it took for Colt, who was one of the first brawlers to get a Buffy, to go from being game-breakingly OP and broken and strong down to just average. It's kind of nice to see some buffied brawlers not actively breaking the game. Next is Buster, staying in the B tier. Very solid as far as close range brawlers go. Not very dominant. He can be excellent to counter certain brawlers, but otherwise, still kind of average. Carl is staying in the B tier. Just a very all-around good, safe pick. A great first choice a lot too. He doesn't have a whole lot of super hard counters. He's got some health, he's got some mobility, he's got a potential for lots of damage. Just a good pick. Daryl's moving from the C tier up into the B tier. Daryl actually received a huge buff to his super damage, which kept him playable despite tanks hurting quite a bit this update. So that's why Daryl's moving up. Daryl mains can rejoice. Janet is staying in the B tier. She continues to just be a good, consistent choice that is particularly good against enemy spawners. So if you got enemy nausea, for example, Janet's a good pick there. Frank is actually moving from the A tier down into the B tier. He keeps on getting power crept on, and since his nerfs, he's only good in certain situations now. Again, a buffied brawler that's not completely busted. We like that a lot. Poco is staying in the B tier. He's still a good, decent option in healing compositions paired up with some good tanks and stuff like that. You don't play him everywhere, but he can be played well. Piper is staying in the B tier. Still a strong, good option in open maps. You don't play her everywhere, but where she's good, she is really good. Pearl's actually moving from the C tier up into the B tier. She had some somewhat recent buffs, and the shifts in the meta are actually kind of starting to help her out a little bit. RT is staying in the B tier. RT remains a solid pick with high upside due to his hypercharge just being really, really strong. Tara is staying in the B tier. She's very consistent thanks to her super and her piercing attack. She can deal with spawners. She's also just really good in a game like Gem Grab where you just need one good super to win the whole match. Lou is staying in the B tier. Lou is very situational. You don't want to play Lou everywhere, but where he works really well. Sandy is staying in the B tier. Just a very reliable utility option. The super is just really, really strong. You don't want to play Sandy in super open maps, but with maps with lots of bushes and walls, Sandy's really excellent. Mo is moving from the A tier down to the B tier. Mo's still strong, just a little bit easier to counter now. Not quite as competitive as he used to be. I'm kind of glad that I avoided the Mo meta. I've never really seen Mo that much. I'm not like playing competitively, right? And a competitive, good, strong Mo is just annoying to play against. So I'm happy with that. Melody is staying in the B tier. Just a solid option, especially in Heist. You don't play her everywhere though, so keep that in mind. Shelly is also moving from the S tier down in, or sorry, from the A tier down into the B tier. She's still a good, strong counter to assassins, and once again is another buffied brawler that after some changes and more brawlers get their buffies is no longer an oppressive option. Sprout is staying in the B tier. Useful and good on the right maps. Not that great anywhere else. So just play Sprout on the right maps where you have some decent walls and some good bush cover, but not like too much bush cover on the enemy side, obviously. Stu is staying in the B tier. A solid, balanced, high mobility brawler that in the hands of the right player can be incredibly good, and in the hands of the wrong player can be incredibly bad. Like my random teammates. Surge is actually moving from the C tier up into the B tier. He actually received a slight buff to his supercharge rate, but it's actually the shift in the meta that's really made him more playable now. So if you have been sleeping on Surge, now's a great time to mess around with him, see what you think. Man, Trunk is staying in the B tier. This is weird to me because I just hate playing Trunk. I feel like he's awful. Obviously, the pros are way better at the game than I am, so I really trust their judgment on this one. But yeah, you guys have to let me know what you guys think of Trunk. Apparently, he's a solid close range pick. Apparently. Larry and Laurie are staying in the B tier. They remain solid, not top tier, just good. Higher end of the B tier for Larry and Laurie. Pam is staying in the B tier. She's useful. She's not essential. She's a good healer. She's got some good health. She's got a decent amount going for her and is worth playing. Squeak is staying in the B tier. He remains a good option, but is held slightly back by the aggressive meta. Really good brawlers that can get close to Squeak. Squeak's really good until you get close to him, and then like you could take Squeak out really fast. Amber is moving from the A tier down into the B tier. She's still flexible. She's less dominant. Just a good option at the moment. Penny is moving from the C tier up into the B tier near the top. There's certain maps that she's actually able to provide a lot of value on. She's a good counter against spawn enemies or enemies that have spawns and stuff like that. Pets. Gray is staying in the B tier. He's pretty much exactly the same every update, right? Very dependent on his comp. You want to play him with aggressive brawlers so that he can use his teleporters to get your teammates to the enemy faster or to get them up to the map. You don't want to play him all the time, but in the right situations, he's excellent. Glowy is moving from the S tier down into the B tier. Glowy was really strong in the last update, so they had to nerf his range a lot, and it was too much, and so then they actually ended up buffing it a little bit, and now Glowy is pretty balanced. So that's great. We like it when brawlers are balanced, especially new ones that end up being way too strong on release. Bo's moving from the A tier down into the B tier. He's dropping slightly, but still remains pretty strong thanks to his buffies. So if you don't have his buffies, he's not the best option right now. In fact, that's good advice. If you have a brawler that without their buffies, you can take a look at this tier list and kind of like drop them down just a couple of tiers and see roughly where they're at. If they're S tier with their buffies, they're probably B tier without. Ziggy is staying in the B tier. He received a buff last update that actually made him so strong that they had to give him multiple nerfs this update, which is cool. It's funny because he was B tier before he got buffed, then he got buffed and then nerfed, and he's back pretty much where he was. So pretty balanced right now. Okay, next we have the A tier brawlers. These are the brawlers that really help define the meta. Not quite as much as the S tier brawlers, but they're really strong. You can play them in a lot of different situations. These are brawlers that are worth investing your resources into and are worth playing if you've already upgraded them. First is Ali moving from the B tier up into the A tier. She's very strong on the right maps. There's almost nothing you can do against an Ali in the bushes. There are a few brawlers that can, and even then, you're likely to just shoot nothing because Ali's up in the air while it's like jumping on you, right? Very hard to counter. Kit is moving from the C tier up into the A tier. Oh crap, what happened to Kit? Oh, this has everything to do with Kit getting some balance changes that made him a little bit less useful as an assassin and a little bit more useful as a support brawler. And some of his best teammates have actually risen up in the meta, which is why Kid is actually there. Charlie's actually moving from the B tier up into the A tier. She's a good, reliable counter to close range brawlers and assassins. She also has some of her own spawnables that can be a little bit more effective in this meta. And she's just really good at shutting enemies down that have really strong hypercharges. Okay, Spike is moving from the S tier down to the A tier. Spike's dropping slightly, not quite as good as he used to be, but still a very strong option. Shade is staying in the A tier. Very consistent with the strong hypercharge, just some good value with Shade, especially if you play him right. Rico's moving from the S tier down to the A tier. Oh my gosh. After changing the map pool, Rico is still a solid option almost anywhere, just not quite as good as he was. Man, the last map pool was just so good for Rico. He got those buffs and just became ridiculously strong everywhere. Nice to see him tone down a little bit. Willow is moving from the B tier up into the A tier. This meta is a little bit more favorable for some of the throwers that are in the meta, and Willow's a great counter to strong hypercharges, enemies that jump onto. You got to play her the right way, but a skilled Willow is really excellent. Juju is staying in the A tier. She remains one of the best throwers in the game right now. A lot of different options for how you play her. She's really quite excellent. Meeple is staying in the A tier. Very strong in this meta, despite there being more spawners rising, simply from the fact that it's so easy to hit your shots with Meeple, and you can do a lot with the walls thanks to his abilities. Kenji is staying in the A tier. Remains a very strong mobility option, a good way to deal with some enemies that can't deal with that close range, and he has some good healing. A good skilled Kenji is a real pain to deal with. Kaze is also staying in the A tier. Oh, how sweet. Husband and wife right next to each other. Oh, sorry, Kaze. There you go. Slightly better. Kaze can be used almost anywhere now because of how versatile she is. It takes a really skilled player to really pull her off. But if you're wanting to like invest your time into a high skill mobility brawler, Kaze is a great choice. Gus is moving from the B tier up into the A tier. Very similar to Kit. Brawlers that pair well with Gus are doing a lot better right now, and that gives Gus more opportunities to really shine competitively. Oh my gosh, Lola's moving from the C tier all the way up into the A tier. Oh yeah, this is because she received some really strong buffs to her super, and I guess that's made her a really solid choice on just about every single map right now. So if you're sleeping on Lola, time to try her out. I've been sleeping on Lola. I didn't even know she was A tier until just now. You're like, but Kairos, isn't this your tier list? No, it's not. It's not. I learned a long time ago that when I make tier lists, they're crap. That's why I have a semi-pro take all the feedback from all of the pros and compile it together to make the best tier list possible. Anyway, let's move on. Gene is staying in the A tier. This is obviously thanks to his really strong super and some opportunities for you to just completely turn the match around. The long range of the super is just really, really good. Finks is staying in the A tier. Just remaining a good, strong option in the right maps and the right modes. If you know how to play Finks, then you know that he's still good. Oh, poor Ems, moving from the S tier down to the A tier. Honestly, Ems is still a very top tier brawler and is a very good brawler. She's a safe option, especially if you're not playing at the competitive level, because enemies do not play around Ems very well. She can get insane value. But even competitively, she's still a very solid, strong option. Cordelius is staying in the A tier. He remains a very strong counter pick to very strong hypercharged brawlers. A strong Cordelius is really, really good. Byron is staying in the A tier. I really like Byron a lot because he's really good at doing a lot of damage, especially on like some good open maps. He can deal with a lot of long range brawlers, but he's also really good at healing people. And you can even prepare your heals by attacking somebody 3 times really quickly before they jump in on enemies. I don't always recommend doing that. It makes people feel like they're invincible, and when people feel like they tend to play really bad and then they die. But still, Byron's great. Okay, now Clancy is moving from the D tier all the way up into the A tier. Clancy recently received some buffs that made him way too strong, in my opinion. So they actually had to nerf his range a little bit, and now he's ending up in a very good option, or a good place. Strong, maybe a little too strong, but not useless like he was for a while. Nita is actually moving from the B tier up into the A tier. This has to do with the map pool that we have right now. She's really good on the types of maps that are in the competitive meta at the moment, and that's why she's going up. She can also deal with lots of spawnables. She can spawn enemies as well, and she has some buffies that are really strong. Angelo is staying in the A tier. He's just a really good dominant brawler on long-range open maps. Like, he's so strong and good that on those long-range open maps, he's like the go-to pick. right? BB is moving from the S tier down to the A tier. She's actually been nerfed several times since she got her buffies. That has included a few nerfs this update, but she's still one of the best close range options in the game. Oh man, Mina's moved from the S tier down to the A tier. This is because Mina just isn't as good as like the game-breaking OP broken brawlers right now that are really strong. She gets countered by them. She's still a top tier brawler. You play her right and Mina will carry you far, but not as far as some of the other brawlers. Which is sad because she's one of my go-to options and has been for a long time. Ruffs is actually moving from the B tier up into the A tier. Wow, near the top of the A tier. Not all the way, but really high up there. So this is because he synergizes really well with some other brawlers that are really strong right now, and that makes Ruffs even more valuable. The fact that you have his hypercharge that can give teammates a free hypercharge as well, and that's just really strong in the hands of the right players. Mortis is staying in the A tier. He received a small nerf to his star power buffy, but his buffies still make him very strong despite his playstyle in this meta being a little bit worse than before. Bull is moving from the S tier down into the A tier. He's another brawler that has gone through multiple nerfs after receiving his buffies, and he's still a very strong tank. One of the best, looks like the second best tank in the game. Sorry, I keep cheating. I'm looking at the S tier right now just to confirm stuff. Griff is moving from the B tier up into the A tier. As a Griff main, I'm very excited about this, but also as a Griff main, I'm disappointed that his buffies aren't game-breakingly strong and didn't skyrocket him up into the S tier. Come on. Yeah, so he received his updates this last update, which made him a lot better, but not broken. Dang it. Gosh. Oh man, Griff mains just cannot catch a break. It's like, hey, he got his buffies, but he's the only brawler with new buffies that's not broken. So there you go. No, in reality, it's a good thing that they're adding buffies into the game that don't make brawlers too OP. It just sucks that it had to be with my favorite brawler to play. Leon is moving from the S tier down into the A tier. Leon was broken after buffies came out, and even after several nerfs, he's still a really good choice. One of the top A tier brawlers in the game. But the top A tier brawler right now is Sirius, moving from S tier down to the A tier. I promise I can talk. Oh my gosh. Sirius barely drops out of the S tier after a couple of emergency nerfs. He was way too strong when he was released, and now he is just A tier, but also he's still really strong. Very, very good. Okay, next we have the S tier brawlers. These brawlers are the best of the best. I said A tier brawlers were meta defining. S tier brawlers are meta defining. Sometimes I try and think of smart things to say. It doesn't happen. But yeah, these are the best of the best. The brawlers to upgrade, the brawlers to play before they get some nerfs, because they're gonna get some nerfs. Bottom of the S tier, staying in the S tier, is Crow. He also received some emergency nerfs. He's just barely hanging on to the S tier, but still is a really good option with his buffies, making him just great. Chester is actually moving from the B tier up into the S tier. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this is because he got buffed last update to the point where he actually needed a slight nerf this update, and he's still one of the best tank counters and assassin counters in the game, which is making him a really safe overall option. He might have to be my new main, man. Otis is moving from the A tier up into the S tier. The reason why Otis is one of the S tier brawlers right now is he is probably he might be the best shutdown brawler in the game, where you have an enemy who, like, you know, maybe like Damien, perhaps, jumps on you and you just, boom, super on him, and then you can run away. Otis is just really good at just shutting enemies down with hypercharges or really strong supers, so that's why Otis is in the S tier right now. Oh my gosh, Edgar is moving from F tier. I think he was like dead last, and he's moving all the way up into the S tier. Not the best, but close to it. This is because of Edgar's new buffies and some reworks that instantly made him one of the best brawlers in the game. He's even being played competitively. What? That's crazy. When was the last time Edgar was being played competitively by the pro players? I don't even remember that. Like, in my brain, he's always sucked competitively, so this is crazy. I hate to imagine what the meta is like for new players right now, where Edgar is a free brawler that you get upgraded for free for playing for like 3 days or something like that. Everybody has him, and he's one of the few brawlers that actually has a buffy. So like, you unlock him, you go straight to that Edgar buffy, the claw machine. Man, yeah, new players, if they know that's the strat, that's like they'll learn that it's the strat if they don't, because everyone else will do it and they'll hate the game because of it. He probably needs to get nerfed. Pierce is staying in the S tier. Ever since Pierce's Hypercharge was released, he's been pretty broken. And even after getting multiple nerfs, this update, he's still one of the best. Okay, Nausea is moving from the B tier all the way up into the S tier. In my previous competitive tier list, Nausea had not been released yet, and we quickly found out that she was insanely broken. She actually got some big nerfs this update, and then some emergency nerfs, and she's still one of the best brawlers in the game. Okay, next we have Nova Star. She is going to start out in the S tier. Again, at the time of recording this video, she has not been released yet, so the pros have not played her. This is just strictly my own opinion of her, along with my semi-pro player Moxie, who helps me make update videos and stuff like that. We have played her on the developer build against bots, and this is our opinion, right? Her attacks seem nearly impossible to avoid. Her super looks like it's going to make her just an extremely strong assassin. She seems kind of like a boring brawler in terms of her abilities. They're not like particularly flashy or new compared to all the other brawlers that like Brawl Stars has been killing it with new brawler mechanics, and she seems pretty basic, but I think she's gonna be really strong and a very hard counter, or hard brawler to counter. Okay, but now we have the top 3 brawlers in the game. Colette is moving from the D tier all the way up into being the 3rd best brawler in the game. Just like most brawlers who get their buffies, except for Griff, Colette was way too strong when she got her buffies. They're probably gonna get nerfed soon. On her release, there were some bugs that made her unkillable. They had to actually remove her from the game temporarily so people couldn't play her because of how strong they were. And then afterwards, she's still really, really strong. She's just a really, really excellent option right now. Oh crap, I just realized I forgot a brawler. Sorry, everybody. Lily is staying in the A tier right between Jean and Lola. That is Lily's position. Sorry about that. She's just a good, decent assassin, top tier. Really makes them for some excellent plays. Great choice. Sorry, forgot her. How did I forget Lily? Oh, because she disappeared into the Shadow Realm and then she stabbed me in the back. Okay, 2nd best brawler in the game right now, Lumi. She's actually moving from the C tier all the way up into the S tier, number 2 in the game. So Lumi received an insane projectile speed buff, and that made her too strong. She also received a health buff to make things even worse. She was under-leveled and now she's over-leveled. A great choice right now, but not as great as the best brawler in the game. Could you guess? Did you guys guess? It's Damien. That's right. Damien is starting out. The newest brawler is the newest OP brawler. He's actually already gone through several emergency nerfs. He's still broken. Yes, this tier list was made after he actually got some nerfs, and I spoke to the pro players after the fact. He's just really, really strong. Really, really strong. And that is every brawler ranked from worst to best after this update. If you want to take a screenshot and share it with anybody, just don't crop my face out. Thank you very much. And again, massive thank you to all of the pro players who helped make this tier list possible. I really could not make a better tier list without them. I couldn't. So I really appreciate their time and their effort. Obviously, the tier list does not reflect every single meta, and there's a lot of people who just play casually. So I'm gonna try doing a 2nd version of the casual tier list. I made 1st version right here. You can take a look at it. It is outdated, but I will be dropping a community post and gathering all of your guys' feedback. You'll be able to vote on where every single brawler should go. We're gonna give it a little bit of time. Maybe some balance changes will happen. So just stay tuned. And if you don't want to miss it, go comment or heart one of my community posts so that YouTube is likely to actually share that community post with you in the future. This isn't me trying to game the algorithm or get you guys to look at my community posts or anything like that. It's just I know that some people missed it and they don't want to miss it. So that's how you can not miss it. Thanks for watching.